Hello everyone, welcome to BVLSI Design Lecture 21L. Today's topic will be implementing XOR and XNOR together using NMOS Complementary Pass Transistor logic. So let us directly dive into the circuit. So this is my transistor level implementation of a XOR gate as well as XNOR gate. So Y1 is XOR and Y2 output will be XNOR. So over here we have given B bar to M1 and M3 and B to the gate of M2 and M4 together. Here we have applied A and A bar and A bar and A. So let us directly dive into the working of this. So we'll check all the cases. This you can read it out later. I will provide you this OneNote PDF later on. So over here, let us consider that A is 1 and B is 0. So obviously B bar will be 1, which will make M1 and M3 on. And since B is 0, M2 and M4 will be off. So when M1 is on, it will pass a weak logic 1. M1 will pass a weak logic 1. Because what we have learned so far for the NMOS pass transistor logic, that it passes a strong logic 0, but it passes a weak logic 1 when we apply a logic 1 to one of its terminals, provided the gate terminal is connected at VDD. So weak logic 1 means it is VDD minus VTN, where VTN is the threshold voltage of the NMOS pass transistor. Now, let us go back to our example. So in the example which we were discussing, we had this circuit over here. Let me just adjust it properly as per the screen. Okay, fine. Now this is better. So remember, NMOS pass transistor logic passes a strong logic 0 as well as it passes a weak logic 1. So, okay, just a minute. Okay, yeah. I was actually powering the laptop. Okay, anyways, so let's continue. So over here, since M1 was on, it passes a weak logic 1. And since M3 is on and it is passing a strong logic 0. So it is true also XOR, whenever both the inputs are different, we get a logic 1. Here in this case, a weak logic 1. And complementary will happen in case of your XNOR XNOR. Okay, XOR and XNOR. Okay. So whatever we get over here as logic 1 or logic, here it will be complementary of it. Let us check the next case. So in this, we have A as 0 and B as 1. In the earlier case, we have opposite A as 1 and B as 0. In this case, we have A as 0. So over here, B will be 1. So your M2 and M4 transistor will be on, whereas B bar is 0. So M1 and M3 transistors are off. So when M2 is on, it passes a weak logic 1. When M4 is off, M4 is on, it passes a strong logic 0 because at the input we have a logic 0 and it passes a strong logic 0. Okay. So over here we get a weak logic 1 and a strong logic 0, which is the function of your XOR and XNOR gate. Now let us check the third case. In this case, A and B both are 0, 0. So logically XOR should give us 0 and XNOR should give us 1. So let us check it out. So over here, B is 0. So your M3 and M4 will be off. And your B bar is 1. So M1 and M3 will be on. Whenever M1 is on and we are passing logic 1, output will be a strong logic 0. Sorry, we are passing logic 0. A is logic 0. So we are passing a strong logic 0. M3 is on and we are passing A bar as 1. So we get a weak logic 1. And that is a classic example of Y1 being 0 and Y2 being 1 in this case, which is the functionality of your XOR and XNOR gate. Let us check the last condition over here. So here we have A as 1 and B as 1. That means B bar will be 0. So M1 and M3 will be off. B is 1. So M2 and M4 will be on. So M2 we are passing logic 0. So it will pass a strong logic 0 at the output. M4 we are passing a logic 1 and it will pass a weak logic 1 at the output. And it is true in nature. Whenever the inputs are same, your XOR operation will give us logic 0 And whenever the inputs are same, our XNOR operation will give us logic 1. In this case, a weak logic 1. Let us check the truth table now. So truth table is a logical truth table, and one is a we have written the values over here in terms of voltages. So zero, it is advisable to write it in this form so that we can exploit the limitations of the circuit. So in this case, for two cases, we are getting a weak logic 1, and in case of your XNOR, also we are getting two cases, we are getting a weak logic 1. Let's say this, let's see this. So VDD is 5 volt and VTN is 0.7, and your weak logic 1 will be VDD minus VTN. So in these two cases, we are getting 4.3 volts. Okay, so that is a weak logic 1, whereas it passes a strong logic 0. Okay, now let's see how many transistors it requires to implement. So we can see 4 transistors, NMOS transistors over here, and we require two CMOS inverters to implement A bar to generate A bar from A and B bar from B. So 4 transistors are additionally required to make 2 CMOS inverters. So the total transistor count to implement 2 input XOR and a XNOR gate is 8. Now, what we will do is let us quickly implement this in LT-Spice. Let us implement this in LT-Spice. So I'll minimize this. I'll open the LT-Spice window. Already the circuit is made available for your ready reference. Okay. And let us check the functionality. First, let us check the schematic in detail. So here we have A and A bar. Here we have B bar, and over here we have B actually. This is not B bar, this is B. I think I have not checked the labels. This is Y1, Y1, and this is Y2. Yeah, now it's proper. Actually, the labeling is done. I was just adding the comment so that it's looking in big, because in reality, if I just check the label, it will be very small. So here it is A bar, A bar, and here it is B bar, B, and output is Y. Similarly, over here, down we have A bar A, and we have B bar B over here, and here we have Y2. So let us concentrate on the LT-Spice schematic now. Once we have checked the compact XOR and XNOR circuit using your NMOS complementary pass transistor logic. So we have connected additionally 2 CMOS inverters to generate A bar from A and B bar from B. Okay, let us check the pulse functionality for your A. So we have 0 to 5, delay time is 5 milliseconds, rise time and fall time is 1 picosecond, on time is 8 milliseconds, and period is around 20 milliseconds, and with the cycles 10. For B, the pulse specification is 0 to 5, delay time is 4 millisecond, rise time and fall time is around 1 picosecond, on time is 8 millisecond, and the period is around 10 millisecond with the number of cycle as 10. We have given the transient response as 30 milliseconds. Let us make a little less. Let me make it around 18 milliseconds. Okay. And also the transistor parameters are given over here in the form of dot model statement. We have given WL. VTO is the threshold voltage. It is 0.7 for NMOS and minus 0.7 for PMOS. And we have given the relevant value of your Kn and Kp. Now, let me simulate this circuit, and we have given the power supply as 5 volt. Remember, all the body terminals or the substrate terminal of all the NMOS transistors should be connected to ground, and for the PMOS transistors, the substrate terminal or the body terminal should be connected to VDD. So that much care we have to take. And when you select any NMOS or PMOS, you have to select either NMOS 4 or PMOS 4. Okay, so that's what we have to do. So let us go to simulate and click on run. So obviously you will get a x-axis with the time axis going from 0 to 18 milliseconds. Let us right click and add 4 plane plots. Y4, 1 for A, 1 for B, and 1 for Y1 and 1 for Y2. Okay, so first we will plot VA. Next we will plot VB. Next is coming up is Y1. And the next one will be Y2. So Y1 and Y2 will be exactly complementary of each other, as expected. Let me change the color to, let's say, this. Okay, now let us check this case by case now. So let me just adjust this window a little. Okay, now it's fine. And let me open the table now. in terms of voltages. Yeah, that's perfect. Now let me select the cursor for Y1 and the cursor for Y2. Okay, let me see. This is Y2 and this is also, I think this is also Y2. So we have to again select it. This is cursor number 1 for your Y1 and your cursor number 2 for Y2. Yeah, now it's fine. Absolutely fine. Yeah. So yeah, this is absolutely fine now. Let us check the first case. First case, we have VA and VB as 0 and 0 volt. Okay, so 0 and 0 volt. Your Y1, which is XOR operation, Y2 will be XNOR operation. So for 0 and 0, Y1 should be a strong logic 0 and we are getting a strong logic 0. As you can see, cursor number 1, 5.81 nano volt, which is as good as 0 volt. And what are we getting in Y2? Y2 we are getting actually 4.295. It should be 4.3 because VTN is around 0.7. So the weak one will be VDD minus 0.7, which is 5 volt minus 0.7, which is 4.3. But we are getting 4.295. That's quite close. That's okay. Now let us move on to the next part. Next is your A is logic 0, B is logic 1, that is 5 volt. So Y1 will be a weak logic 1, which is coming out to be 4.294. It should be 4.3, but we are getting 4.294. And your Y2 will be, as usual, strong logic 0, which is 5.81 nanovolt, as good as 0. Let us check the next case. So next case is VA and VB both are 5 and 5 volt. So Y1 will be a strong logic 0, that is no doubt about it. And your Y1 will be a weak 1. This is 4.295. Let us check one more case as this. Two more cases, in fact. So this is VA is 5 volt and VB is 0 volt. So Y1 will be a weak 1, which is 4.294, and your Y2 will be a strong logic 0, which is 0 volt. So nanovolt is around 0 volt. Let us check the last case over here. This is both are again 0 and 0. So VA and VB are 0 and 0. So Y1 will be around 5.81 nanovolt, which is 0, a strong logic 0. Basically, when we are applying 0 and 0 volt, we are getting a strong logic 0 over here. And your Y2 will be 4.294, which is a weak logic 1. So whenever both the inputs are 0 and 0 volt, XNOR operation will give us a weak logic 1. So in this way, we can complete the analysis for the remainder of the cycle, and all the cases of this truth table can be verified. Okay. One limitation of this complementary pass transistor logic, which you see in front of your screen, is that in this case, you don't get a full swing output. That means logic 1 is never 5 volt. It is a one threshold voltage drop less. So in this case, that's the only limitation of the complementary pass transistor logic. And let's count how many transistors it requires. So 2 for first inverter, 2 for second inverter, so total 4, and 4 over here. So to implement a 2-input XOR and XNOR gate using NMOS complementary pass transistor logic, we require a total of 8 transistors, out of which 6 of them are NMOS and 2 of them are PMOS. Okay, I think with this we have completed the entire functionality. We have verified the truth table by conceptual analysis and also by LT-SPICE simulation. So I guess we have completed the topic for today's session, and I think that's it. Next time we'll start with some other new topic. So until then, have a good day and thank you.